Hey, it's Sunday. No, Saturday. What day is it? Saturday? Yeah, because if it were Sunday, I would have, already missed church, and that would be bad. Anyway, so this is a very dry run of my sermon for tomorrow. I'm still noodling with it. The draft will change, I guess. I don't know. I need to take a break from it. I've been working on it for a couple hours. It's a little quote heavy for me. I don't usually like to use a whole lot of quotes, maybe one. I like referring to ideas, but not usually quotations. And this sermon actually has 3 separate quotations. So, anyway, thought I'd give it a dry run, post it online, let me know your thoughts, or not, whatever. Yeah, here it goes. So this is what we got. It's the sermon for the second Sunday of Christmas. It's the first Sunday of 2009. Last week we heard a little from J.R.R. Tolkien's book, The Lord of the Rings. We spoke of epic language and what may or may not be evoked through such grandeur, and whether or not the Gospels provide such an epic scope. Yes and no seems to be the answer. The great both and, as friends of mine like to say. See, fantasy fiction leads us from reality to entertainment, whereas the epic of the Gospels lead us from places of fantasy to reality. They lead us to places of vulnerability. They lead us into the world and not away from it. This is the nature of the Gospel story. This week, however, I'd like to offer you some of Tolkien's own theological thinking. It seems that he never abandons the melodrama of the epic, even in the daily life of his faith. Here is his musing on communion. He calls it the Blessed Sacrament. Out of the darkness of my own life, so much frustrated, I put before you the one great thing to love on earth, the Blessed Sacrament. There you will find romance, glory, honor, fidelity, and the true way of all your loves upon earth. And more than that, death. By the divine paradox, that which ends life and demands the surrender of all, and yet by the taste or foretaste of which alone can what you seek in your earthly relationships, love, faithfulness, joy, be maintained or take on that complexion of reality, of eternal endurance that everyone's heart desires. Just hear these words: romance, glory, honor, fidelity, love, death, surrender, taste, foretaste, faithfulness, joy, reality, and desire. All of this is contained in the simple ritual of communion, the rite that Tolkien calls the Blessed Sacrament. His theological writing was as wide-sweeping as his fiction. Now, there's another way of understanding this same idea. It is in somewhat simpler language. Listen to the words of Alton Brown, celebrity chef and host of Iron Chef America. Remember this: it is not food until somebody eats it. Cook all you want, be as inventive as you want, be as creative as you want, but until someone comes along and takes it in somehow, what you've made has no meaning. I love Alton Brown's directness as much as I love Tolkien's grandeur, and in a sense, they are both trying to get us to understand something essential about life, and, I would say, faithful religion. One must choose to participate in it. Life is not a spectator sport. Food and faith have this same thing in common. One must participate in it, take it into oneself before it can be truly real to us, before it can be complete or useful. A mushroom's not nutritious if it's just sitting there on a log, or if it is nutritious sitting there on the log, the nutrition does us no good. It cannot exist in any true sense. Faith cannot exist in any true sense when it's simply laid upon some shelf, stuck in some museum or television studio, or upon some sanctuary dais. Jesus talked about this problem in terms of lights and bushels and flavorless salt. Faith needs to be ingested, taken in, and it must be proclaimed. We must consume it, We must take it into ourselves. Jesus knew this. We must somehow enflesh it and allow it to shape us more and more deeply every day. It demands passion and action. And this takes us back. This is the power of story. We have come to the end of the Christmas story. This is the second Sunday of Christmas, and I want us to think once again about the nature of story and why we tell the stories we tell. On Christmas Eve, we cradled Christ in our arms, the child Jesus, who was the story of God born into the world. Last Sunday, we allowed the story to make us vulnerable by entering into its epic framework. This morning, we take the story into ourselves through communion. We ingest it to make it real. Religion is a thing. That's all. It's no more intrinsically valuable than anything else. Though it can be valuable. Religion, though it's corruptible, as corruptible as anything else humanity participates in, can be a positive and beautiful thing. It can provide a loving, nurturing community and avenues through which we encounter God, who is, was, and will be in the center of all things that bring life. The story can be a good one if we let it. A story of divine revolution, of a God, a word, a story made flesh. Aung San Suu Kyi, winner of the 1991 Nobel Peace Prize, says this: "The quintessential revolution is that of the spirit. A revolution which aims merely at changing official policies and institutions with a view to an improvement in material conditions has little chance of genuine success. Without a revolution of the spirit, the forces which produced the iniquities of the old order would continue to be operative. It's not enough merely to call for freedom, democracy, and human rights. There has to be a united determination to persevere in the struggle, to make sacrifices in the name of enduring truths, to resist the corrupting influence of desire, ill will, ignorance, and fear." This is the story, the Word made flesh. This is the core of the story we tell, the Christian story. This is the central truth of our religion and the reason for many of our traditions, our liturgies, our charity. Do we as a congregation have the strength to participate in our own tradition fully and thus proclaim its goodness to the hills? Can we engage our faith as passionately as Tolkien did his, or are we hiding our light under some bushel? What Alton Brown says, though certainly incomplete, has the grain of truth in it. Religion, if it is spiritual food, is useless unless we participate in it with passion and with joy. And dare we enter the revolution that Kyi proclaims. Today we celebrate the rite of communion. Today we physically take in our faith through symbols of bread and juice. In the beginning was the Word, and through that Word all things were created. The people of the Word, you and me, need not hide their faith or be ashamed of their religion. We certainly may have to apologize and seek the forgiveness of others. That's part of our story, but we need not be ashamed. We live in a world in need of hopeful and nurturing faith. We live in a world that needs alternative communities that proclaim life, deny violence of all kinds. We need religious voices that speak words of love. We need people who will be the Word made flesh, who will tell the story. Thanks be to God. All right, so there it is. That's the sermon. I'm like at 10 minutes. Thanks for bearing with me. I appreciate it. If you have any feedback, let me know. I'm preaching it tomorrow morning, and I'll make some changes. It's the thumping is Mike. Anyway. It needs work, but it's getting there. I feel good about it. If I had to preach it right now, I think I could. But I want to tweak it some more. It's still, quote, heavy. I don't know. But the idea is, I mean, I love Tolkien's idea, this epic approach, and what's more epic than a revolution, and what's more easy to understand than food? I think that's why the three ideas just, they come together. I can't help it. So that's what I got. I hope you have a great Saturday. I'm going to take a nap now. Yeah. Anyway, take care. I'll talk to you later.